You think you fixed vibe coding because you sat down and wrote out the plan first. Look at the top left side of the graphic under the human readable header. You made a nice clean project readme.md file. You spent an hour detailing the exact rules in a Notion document. You even left a clear inline code comment warning the AI to ensure data validation. You did everything right, but the agent still built the wrong thing. Look closely at the character on the left representing the developer agent. See that orange cross right next to the README file. The agent didn't read it. It literally cannot read a Notion page while it is actively modifying your source code. You didn't actually guide the AI. You just wrote a post-mortem before the incident even happened. Now follow the orange line labeled actual behavior as it slopes upward and away from the original plan. This is the drift gap. The agent implements code, not text. So while you think you are safe because the spec exists, the agent is already drifting into total chaos. Having a document that says what the code should do does not mean the agent will do it. Now look across to the right side of the screen where the machine-readable spec header sits. This is where the whole game changes. Look at the 3 levels stacked vertically across the entire screen. At the very top labeled level 1, you see vibe coding in its purest form. Trace the messy, tangled white lines behind the human character over to the massive arrow curving up to the right. That is maximum drift. There is no plan, no documentation, just random ideas and ad hoc code thrown at the AI. It is fast, it is chaotic, and it completely falls apart the second your project grows beyond a single file. Drop down to the middle section labeled Level 2, Spec Anchored. This is where most developers get trapped. You think you are doing STD because you have that paper icon right in the center representing a human readable spec. But look at the arrows. The developer understands it, but the AI agent just uses it as a static reference before it sits down to code. Look at that moderate drift arrow on the far right. The agent still drifts because there is no automated gate stopping it. Level 2 is not STD, it is just vibe coding with extra homework. Now look at the bottom section labeled Level 3, Spec-as-Source-of-Truth. Notice how the human document is gone, replaced by a glowing machine-readable chip right in the center. Look at the bright green arrows on the right side pointing to the words Spec wins. Here the AI agent runs continuous checks against that machine-readable file at every single step. If the code and the spec disagree, the spec wins and the code is forced to change. That is why the lines on the far right stay perfectly flat, showing absolutely no drift. But how do you actually write something that both you and a machine can read without losing your mind? You write that code-winning spec by breaking it into 3 critical documents. They form the universal STD artifact contract shown in the 3 columns across the top. It doesn't matter which STD tool you pick, AWS Kiro, BMAD method, Spec Kit or Claude Code. They all expect these 3 exact pieces of information before they generate a single line of code. On the left, in the green column, is the first doc, requirements.md. This defines what you are building, but only using strict EARS notation. EARS looks like English, but it is not. If you write make the checkout page fast, the AI has absolutely no idea what fast means. That spec will drift instantly. But look at the bullet points in that document. You must structure every requirement with a specific trigger and a measurable condition, like confirm inventory availability within 200 milliseconds. A machine can measure milliseconds. It cannot measure fast. This notation is the only way to write requirements. An agent can actually verify programmatically. Follow that horizontal blue arrow labeled informs architecture to that middle document, design.md. This is the blueprint for how the system boundary should look, seen in that schematic diagram. It defines the structure your code must conform to. This document logs in the specific component contracts, things like the inputs, outputs, and exact API schemas. You can trace this directly to that arrow at the bottom, which connects the design document straight into the continuous integration verification loop. Finally, look at the orange column on the right for tasks.md. This is the explicit execution plan, detailing every single atomic task in a strict dependency order shown by that little train icon. Each single task must represent exactly one acceptance criterion, and it must include explicit TDD-style verification steps, the small red, green, and refactor icons you see listed. This ensures that the agent follows a test-first approach for every tiny step it takes. But having this perfect structure is useless if you don't enforce it during your daily workflow. The core discipline of maintaining 3 machine-readable documents never changes, but the way you interact with them depends on the tool you choose across the 4 tools shown here. From the green column on the left to the purple one on the right, the destination is always requirements.md. design.md and tasks.md. Only the entry point shifts. On the left, AWS Kiro forces an IDE native spec first workflow. In that green box, you write your requirements.md directly in the editor. Kiro then automatically generates the necessary design and task files. Its secret weapon, labeled agent hooks, automatically triggers on any file event, keeping your specifications and code perfectly synchronized without you even thinking about it. Next over in the blue box is GitHub Spec Kit. This open source solution gives you a consistent interface of simple / commands. Notice those labels: specify generates requirements, clarify tightens them, plan produces design, and tasks decomposes everything into atomic units. Spec Kit works universally across Claude Code, Copilot, Cursor, Windsurf, and Ada, giving you a shared discipline regardless of your preferred AI. Drop down to the orange box for the BMAD method. This approach deliberately slows everything down. Each document in that top row is produced by a specialized AI agent. The analyst agent creates the requirements. That product manager robot produces the spec. Follow the handoff chain to the architect, who creates the final design.md. The slowdown is the point. The handoff gate between each specialist forces extreme verification before a single line of code is ever touched. Finally, in the purple column on the right, you have Claude Code. Look at the spec.md document prominent on that screen. This persistent spec is fed as explicit session context right at the start of every session. The agent continuously verifies its actions against it, ensuring the master specification persists as your immutable anchor across multiple coding sessions. The real power of SDD, though, isn't just better code. The true value of mastering SDD isn't just about cleaner code. It completely changes how senior engineers perceive you. Look at the 3 main scenarios mapped out across the top row. When you understand this conceptual shift, you signal an entirely different level of engineering maturity. Look at the first column on the left under code review. Before this, a code review was just staring at a screen asking, does this look right? But with an SDD mindset, you point right to that green checkmark side and ask, what does requirements.md say this function should return? And does this implementation actually verify it? You shift from looking for vague bugs to enforcing a strict contract. Now move your eyes to the middle column for the technical interview. Telling an interviewer, I use Cursor for autocomplete is an immediate junior level answer. It shows you just want to generate text faster. But look at the diagram with the 3 documents connected by arrows on the senior side. Explaining a strict 3-document SDD workflow signals that you know how to architect systems, govern agents, and guarantee correctness at scale. Follow the graphics over to the 3rd column on the right labeled team. Retrospective: when a production bug hits, a junior team points at that angry red robot icon and blames the model for hallucinating. A mature engineer looks at the chart showing the spec gap and diagnoses it correctly as a specification failure. You realize you simply didn't write a verifiable acceptance criterion. Drop down and follow the concrete output difference comparison across the very bottom of the screen. The engineers who will absolutely thrive in this AI era are not the ones who can dump jumbled ideas into a prompt to generate the most code the fastest. Speed is what the AI gives you for free. Correctness is still your job. You thrive by being the person who can write the spec that makes the code correct. Before this video, spec-driven development was just a trendy phrase. After this video, it is a strict 3-document contract, requirements.md, design.md, tasks.md that the agent continuously checks itself against. That is not documentation, that is a specification. Hit subscribe to level up your engineering workflow with us every single week. Then click the link in the description to watch the next video in this series where we deep dive into requirements.md master EARS notation and learn exactly why plain English requirements produce the same catastrophic drift as having no requirements at all.